I really don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you to you ladies. You inspired me. I can walk away with lots of great things that you have said, and just thank you again.
Hi, my name is Courtney Locust. My question is directed towards Esther. You talked about what your opinion means. I just wanted to see if you can dig a little bit deeper. You're talking about understanding your own perspective, knowing your frame and your authority, and doing your own research before you move forward and say you want to do whatever it is you're saying you're doing. So can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so right now we're in a space where people talk about having an opinion will get you from A to Z, or Z as you will say, and so what I mean about, it's not about the facts, but it's the frame. So for example, right now, Governor Chris Christie from New Jersey, there's all this drama and all this trouble because of what happened with the bridge and the whole thing. So those are the facts. Now, the frame through which I look at politics is what I call the politics of emotionality. And that is the way emotionality shapes policy and politics and culture and gender and race, and how that affects how people move through the world. And so my political commentator on the right will say, well, Chris Christie's world is over and he can't do anything, da 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 da. And my perspective would be, it's not just about the facts of what happened, but the narrative that Chris Christie can create to change the public's minds about the facts that have been presented. So it may say in the report that blah, blah, blah knew about blah, blah, blah. But because my remorse, my care for my community, my investment in the public getting it right matters more, the facts don't change the frame that makes me the caring governor that you should support and therefore vote for. Do you see what I'm saying? And so what informs my opinion is the work I do around emotionality and the reading that I do around that and the way that I've crafted that. So that's about history and the legacy of untreated trauma that is what particularly folks of color history is in. It's about how people talk about women being the most emotional, but if you look at the way politics works, people go to war based on feelings. Mm-hmm. I'm mad, and so I'm gonna drop a bomb literally on your head. Do you know what I mean? And so it's about saying the news is always one version of what happened, but it is not the truth. That there are several truths, and every single truth is relative. And right now in cable news media, there's no such thing as objective journalism. All journalism is perspective. I say objectivity is just privileging one perspective over another. And so the point for you as somebody coming to the stage or coming to the mic is to say, what is the perspective that I want to communicate, and how am I going to have those facts inform my perspective? Am I being clear? Okay.
Any more questions or comments?
There's one right here.
Then I'll get you next.
Oh, okay.
Hey guys, my name is Rachel Ray DeSalvo. I actually worked in Hispanic specialty and multicultural media for about 12 years. I now work in real estate. I just wanted to say something to you guys. I think it's really important that you're all here talking, and I kind of wanted to touch on the preparedness thing for a moment. One thing I was talking to a former colleague about last night was when we were coming up, we didn't see women that looked like us necessarily in these positions. And I think that kind of contributed to our behavior of kind of like the struggle and really fighting and striving to prove ourselves. And I think kind of touching on the structure now, we have so many of us involved in media and industries that we weren't necessarily seeing ourselves in. And now it's kind of for us to kind of reach back and groom those people coming up now, or women coming up now especially, and teach them now they have to continue to kind of fight, like you said, the longevity of it. Mm-hmm. So I think that, it's kind of, while it's a gift and a curse almost, it's like, okay, so now we're here, but now what? So they see us, right? They see all of us doing these things that we weren't necessarily doing before.
Okay, so here's the thing about that, right? Because I don't think there's a person on this panel who has not grabbed some young folks, young men and women, and said, listen, I see potential in this person or ambition, and I'm going to take them with me. But there is something wrong with the consistent behavior that is shown when you have, I think it can't be a one-time occurrence if we're all experiencing young people who feel like, forget the process, I'm here now and I should be rewarded immediately. It's like this a microwave society or microwave
Microwave,
mentality.
for sure.
They haven't waited for
Instagram, everything's
anything.
Instagram.
The meal goes into the oven, the microwave in 30 seconds, it's done. They don't even wait to get a song downloaded, a movie comes directly to you. There's no like, okay, I need to wait on this. They don't have and that's not their fault.
Right.
It's just the fact that they're in their generation, they are the first generation to experience what we've all been working towards, is shortening the wait time on everything.
Yep.
And so, like, when it comes to a career, that same mentality factors in, where it's like no consideration to the fact that, no, this is going to be the one thing you do wait on. You invest, it's going to be a slow grind. Paying your dues will never expire. It is required. And then one thing that ethnic women need to remember is always that we're not going to get the Caucasian privilege or consideration when we have a bad day, which means that, like Joe Morton said, as Olivia Pope's dad, he said, "What do I always tell you?" And he said, "You have to work twice as hard for half the rewards." I say that all the time. I was like, oh my God, he just quoted me. You have to work twice as hard for half the rewards. And what ends up happening is that when you actually have a black or brown woman who puts that work in, you end up being superhuman, like Olivia Pope, or like all of us in this room, where now they're afraid. Because they're like, okay, she's like this dynamo blowing through the job and can do it better than I can, because she had to go through so much to get to this level that now she's way beyond my qualifications. And if the secret gets out that she should be being my boss, then what's going to happen? And then you have the intimidation factor, which we don't even have enough time to talk about that here, because that's a movie. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's that.
I think that we're around the same age, and I think, I definitely had to go through many of the same things and kind of proving myself. And I think just the one thing I wanted to touch on is in a way, it's wonderful to see that we're kind of arriving, or the younger girls are now kind of arriving, like, I can do this. Everybody does this. I can do this. And it's like, okay, calm down. You can't totally do it like that,
not
but
yet.
you can do this.
Yes.
And I'm proof that you can achieve it. And I think that, that speaks volumes to you guys. So just thank you for doing
But
that.
let me just add to that, because I'm really a proponent of young professionals doing well. Some of them are talented enough to do the things that some people up here are doing now. They actually are talented enough to do
They
it.
are. They just need to know the structure.
Definitely understand the structure, and I encourage our members to understand the structure. I happen to be a single parent of a daughter. Am the second woman elected to my position. So in civil rights, men are typically the ones who lead organizations that are civil rights based. And I'm a two-term president, right, which is super cool to me. Super cool to have a woman doing that who happens to be a parent, because we've never had any young professionals that are a single mom doing this type of stuff. So I'm proud of that, but I'm also proud of the fact that there are other young professional women in our organization who have children who now believe that they can do those same types of things. So when they ask me to have tea or coffee or have a conversation about what it is they want to do in leadership, whether it's civil rights or something else, I'm there to support their dreams and their vision. What I would challenge people to do, though, I've had a couple of young ladies who've come to me and said, not only do I want to learn from you, but I want to support you in your journey, because it's challenging to be a female leader in any space, right? And you need support. And so if you come to me and say, I have a plan to help you in this area for this initiative that you're working on, you're going to learn 15 times more from me than someone who just touches bases with me at a coffee or a tea. And I can put you in position, to your point, to be able to be successful in the future. So if you want my seat, I can help you to get there, because we're in touch all the time, right? Because we're working on something. So I think that's the generational conversation that maybe we should have more of, is how can we collaborate and work together so that not only am I continuing to empower more women, but you're then going to be able to empower women because you're blazing a trail for yourself.
Can I just say one thing to that? Would you say that, like, the robbery era of women were the same way in reaching back? Because what I found in coming up in business is that there was a whole generation of women that were of the bra burning era that were not necessarily as enthusiastic about my enthusiasm or eagerness to kind of try to take the world by storm.
That is true.
And so
That's
I think
true.
That
where we
is
differ
true.
as a generation, or as kind of an era of women where we can reach back to younger women.
I just want to really disagree, because I think that what's really important is to know that, I think it's important for us to know that every generation of women had their own particular struggle and their own particular challenge to face, and so they did the best they could with what they had. And then it's the next generation's job to add a little bit more to what was done. And I think part of what I think doesn't serve us is to step back and say, well, this is what they didn't do and this is why this was a problem. Whereas I think the thing that is smarter for us to say is to say, this is what they did that was amazing. Because we stand on their shoulders, we can lean forward and do way more. Because I definitely agree with you. Like, I train young women, and I know I have a whole fleet of young women who I've worked with, all women of color, who are young, like 21, 22, young, who are getting into great jobs of position in media. Because what I say is, part of civil rights was wanting for black people to have a presence. But now it's about wanting to have power.
Right.
So that you can actually create the world in which you want to live and make the choices that you want to make, unburdened by the things that other people tell you should or shouldn't do. So the brilliance of having a parent as a president is there are things that you absolutely inherently understand because you've got a kid. Do you know what I mean? That's why it matters that more young women who are parents become presidents.
Absolutely.
And so I think that, so when a young woman comes to me at 18, like, I want to run some shit, I'm not mad at you. I just want to know that you have a plan. I want to know that you're passionate.
And a
I know
commitment.
and that you want to learn. And if you have those things, then absolutely I'm willing to work with you because I've seen it. And I can name all these women who I think I'm really excited by, who have that kind of passion. Because my thing is, I'm training my replacement on MSNBC every single day. I want to know that when I'm gone, there are 20 who are flyer than me, smarter than me, better than me. I don't believe in that. You got to wait 50 years. No, none of that. You should start doing it now. But it is about the structure that we create to help women do that.
So this is where I have to jump in because I'm like, I could listen to her all day. She's amazing. But they're killing me because I'm doing the work, so I'm keeping time. So I'm just like, this is all so good. But we want to.